Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people. Welcome to another episode of People's Perspectives. I know usually I interview people with more of a political focus, but after I interviewed my brother, who was a creative at heart, I feel like this was sort of a natural pivot from politically focused interviews. So today I have the great privilege of interviewing hip-hop collective 2 weeks. So,
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Donnie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Which one of you is Hank Hill and so forth?
So I'm Golden. I sing and stuff.
I'm Jackson or JS Punch. I do a lot of the vocals and
You do
also
everything.
mixed and mastered everything. I'm kind of the best. I'm so good.
You're so good.
Thurston, you can take it from me.
I am Thurston. I did vocals on the album, and that's about it. Sequoia, how about you go?
Hi, I'm Sequoia. I do vocals and I also did all the fucking artwork and shit. Here's some of my work right here.
Nice. Wonderful.
That's dope.
Let's go.
I'm Bobby. At least that's what I go by. And I did some of the vocals, and I produced one song, co-produced.
Nice.
True.
I haven't done it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Yi. I do vocals and I produce the Darman interlude.
Finally, we have Drake in
Awesome.
the corner.
Yeah, I'm Tuck. I'm featured on Gay Son Thought Daughter.
Right.
And we're missing, I believe, Kevin, who, a lot of people say Kevin carried. Unfortunately, he is working at Jimmy John's right now, so he couldn't make it.
He could
He's
pop
the
in.
CEO. He runs a Fortune 500
He might pop
company.
in, we're not sure. But we're also missing Bruno, who produced like half of it. So shout out to our Aussie. It's like 5 a.m. over there, so
Maybe he'll also pop in halfway
he might
through.
also pop in too. I don't know, but
Cool. Okay, so let me start with the first question. So you guys are like self-trained rappers, producers, and singers with very different styles. So how did you guys come together and decide to make an album together?
That's a very long story, but does anybody want to do
I
that?
feel like you probably are kind of. You didn't you come up with a name too?
Yeah, I did.
You should go
Okay, so all of us originally met in a Brockhampton Leaks Discord server that I currently am the owner of. And so within the community, there's a lot of very interesting characters, and so a couple months ago, maybe even almost like a year ago at this point,
6
there
months.
was I guess 6 months ago, there is this collective within the server by the name of Say What You Feel, and so they make music themselves, and they haven't released in a while, but I believe they are still working on stuff. But basically, we saw what they were doing with their collective, and we one day in a call, I made a joke, and I was like, "What if we jokingly make a collective and we just say that we're going to drop in 2 weeks all the time and never actually put anything out?" And so it was always just a joke, like nothing was ever supposed to come from it. And then one day we just kind of actually ran with it and started making music. And I mean, we didn't really do anything super extensive until like a month ago when we decided we would just actually kind of make music, and now here we are, I guess.
That's really cool because when I listened to the album, I thought my impression was, this seems like very comedic, but it also sounds like there was actual work put into it and thought behind it and stuff. So yeah, And that's interesting to hear because, like, for some reason, I just automatically thought that it was like, oh, Brockhampton's a hip hop collective. So, but it's interesting to know that you got the idea from somewhere else. So that's cool. Okay, so what experience have you guys had in like making music before putting this album together? Like JS Punch, I know that you worked on Noah Bronson.
Yeah. I guess I'd take this then. I think I'm the only one here. Well, Tuck's done some stuff on SoundCloud and stuff, but I'm the only one that's like actually put effort into like make my own shit really. And so that's why like I mixed and mastered everything because basically on the music side of it, I'll take like the lead on it, I guess. And yeah, it's like that. This was always good because this skews a lot more to the joke side, like you were talking about. So we can just kind of do whatever we want and just have fun with it. And it helped to learn. Like a lot of this stuff that made it on there was recorded months ago. Like our process would be like we get really into it for like a weekend and then we just stop for 2 months. And so like I think Sex on there is funny because that track, me and Bubby did that like probably in like March, and it was like the first song we did really. And then we just did nothing forever until the day before we turned it in. We updated it and added E onto it. That was all like last minute. Like we're doing like our Donda shit. It was really funny. And so that's kind of, I guess, I would have the most experience with all that. And it's even then though I'm not like an engineer or anything. I don't really know what I'm doing too well. I'm just like self-taught, just doing shit for fun. So we're doing it. We're out here.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because like when I was listening to it, like I was like pleasantly surprised by like everything was like mixed and balanced really well. And it's just like, at least like from a mixing perspective, like to my ears, it sounded really solid. So
Yeah, thank you. That's great to hear because like you'll spend so long on those things and you just like I think a lot of it most people wouldn't even notice. You also got to like factor half your audience is probably on AirPods, like they're in their car or something, so they might not even hear shit in general. But um it's good to hear that it's like at least somewhat professional. That's again finding the balance of like we want it to sound professionally good, but it's not serious at all, right?
so like basically like my impression is like each of you guys did like beats for like different songs and did the vocals for different songs. So what was the process of uh like song to song and like assembling the track list and like actually like putting the album together? Like how did that work? Was it just like making it up as you go along, like, oh, we got this track done, now we'll do this, like let's come up with something else? Or like how did that process work?
We had a track list like
Oh, you can go then.
yeah, I mean we had a track list like pretty. I don't think we had a track list early on, but like by like June we had a general idea of what songs we were gonna put on it, but we had to cut a couple.
Oh, that's interesting. Are those ever gonna get released, or are they gonna be shelved forever?
In some form. I think
Yeah,
It'll
you'll
come out in
probably
2 weeks.
yeah, they'll be out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Cool. Yeah, so you said that you met like 6 months ago. So like is that like how long it took to put the album together, or?
Yeah, I mean we've known each other for almost
Year and a half,
most
probably.
of
Year
us.
and a half.
Yeah, like a year and a half at
Yeah.
this point.
Right, so year and a half,
But-
and then 6 months ago you decided to like be a group, and then like
Yeah.
how long did
Yeah,
it like
again, though, it
start to
was very
finish
much-
take to put the album together?
It was very much we would be into it for like a weekend and be really motivated, and then do like 2 things, and then just not do anything.
Right,
'Cause
so it was
that's,
really
like,
on and
the joke
off.
we're making now. Yeah, the joke we're making now is like it could have easily been made in 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and so having like 6 months of like build up for it seems a little silly because it's like we did not at all work on it for 6 months. Like if it was
Right.
6 months, it would be like this insane thing, you know. But not like we had just so much shit, and the only reason like recently we had it all come together. Really, it's just like me and Bruno noticed we had pretty much everything we needed to finish. We just needed a few more verses. Like it's just like we didn't even realize because we've just been putting shit off and just we're all busy and all that. But the last, well, I guess now it's probably like a month ago. It was like the last week before we wanted to upload it. That was like the time we probably worked on it the most. Even though like the beats and shit were done, it's like all like the mixing and art and everything. That was all kind of last minute.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
did a
my
listening party for the album, and then I think Thurston and Kevin were like, we want to add more verses. So
I recorded all of my vocals for Cart Night like an hour before the thing was submitted.
Yeah, Cart Night's a funny one because that was a lot of people's favorite. But we originally it was just like that first half of it where it's slower, and then we were gonna scrap it because like nobody had hopped on it, and we're all lazy, and it's hard to get people on it. But last minute we wanted to throw it together. I had an idea where I would just kind of do like a Andre 3000 on Do You thing, and just like just keep going crazy, start yelling a bunch, and that basically all of the shit on that was recorded like the day before we uploaded it. So that was like, again, we could have made this in 2 weeks if we made that song like a day.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I really liked that last track a lot as like a closer. Like, I liked the build up and the use of distortion and all that. Like that was a really interesting track.
Another little Easter egg is that the part about halfway in when me and Golden are like trading lines the whole time, he had just sent me his verse, and then I just like chopped it and surprised him with like all the line trading. So that made it a lot of fun too, because we didn't really have that anywhere on there.
Yeah, I had no clue that was gonna happen. It truly surprised me the second I heard it in the listening party. So
That's really cool. Yeah, my personal favorite is Dilf. I like that one a lot.
I agree.
That's a good one.
So I think it's on track 4. I might be wrong. There's like a Yoshi sample from Super Smash Bros. Melee. Do you guys play that game and or like Ultimate or whichever? And if so, like who are your mains?
I'm answering this one because I'm a big Smash nerd here. Play the fuck out of Ultimate. My mains are like DDD and like K-Roll. Love me some heavies. Yeah. It was actually my idea to put on those ad-libs. Made Bruno do that.
And those are your vocals too.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the little line in there? There's a little line that you say in there.
You, Mr. Donny, how do you feel about that?
I mean, like, I'm not sure how many of my videos you guys have seen, but like, I don't think I really like give off like an arrogant vibe. So whenever I heard that line, I just assumed I was hearing something else. Like no, like this can't be a name drop. It's gotta be something else. But I liked it. I mean, this is like my opinion. Like I wouldn't give this album a 10. It's not a 10, but like from start to finish, it's like
Don't give it a 10.
From start to finish, it's like really cohesive and like solid and like it sounds like at least like well planned enough. One of the things I like a lot is like the interlude, or like the part right after the interlude. It's like, we hope you enjoyed that interlude. Like I liked how ironic that was.
If he was here, he'd do it right now. He knows the whole like outro. He does it all the time. That's unfortunate, but.
Are you familiar with Darman's material?
No, I've listened to like Noah Bronson, but that's about it.
Oh, okay. Well, Darman is this guy on YouTube that makes like scenario videos with like super.
Oh, you mean like the number 15? Is it the
lessons.
number 15 guy or is it someone else?
No, that's someone else.
Oh, okay.
It's like acting, and it's like they're on Facebook and they have like millions of views. And you learn these morals, and he has this great outro that he does to all the videos. So that's what the ending of that's a parody of. Bruno is very good at just doing that off memory.
Cool. Something that I thought was funny, like I looked it up afterward because I was like, huh. Was like the feature on track 3 is like this like semi big like small time TikTok star. Yeah,
Joel,
yeah.
you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so basically, we just got really bored one day, and we were like, okay, well, if we were to get more features on 2 weeks, who would we do? So we went on Cameo of all places, and we were just scrolling through to see who could we find, and we found Kanye East for like $15. I was like, okay, I'll pay the $15 for Kanye East to be on the album because that'd be really fucking funny. So I paid him. It took him like the last minute. I thought we weren't gonna get it. I thought he was just gonna back out on us. But last second, he came through, gave us the feature, and we put it on the album, and it was really good.
And he
That's
sent it as a
awesome.
video too, and like he's playing the beat on a speaker in the background. So we had to like throw it into an AI to like get rid of the instrumental in the back. This is great.
Considering that, it sounds really good in the mix. Like even when it's isolated, just that at the end, like it all sounds good. Yeah. I think what's effective about this album is that like it's not just like there isn't just like one style. Like I hear like a bunch of different like artists I could compare to like some like Kendrick, some like Death Grips. Be like at least in terms of delivery of some lines like Young Thug maybe.
How would you compare to Kendrick?
There's this I forget which song, but there's like one part of one of the songs that's like a bunch of different voices like shouting. It's like one bar at the same time that sounds like something that would be from a Kendrick song. But I forget which. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That sounded like Kendrick. Something Kendrick would do, yeah. For sure. How did you guys like come up with like Dilf? Because like I feel like if anything, at least stylistically, like that's the standout on the record. Because like compared to like the other tracks that are like different variations of like super angsty like techno beats, like this is like a really like soulful like R&B track, like despite like the comedic subject matter, like that's the style.
This was the one that Bubby produced, so you should talk
Oh,
about
Dilf?
it. I'll talk about the structure after too, so that's fun. But yeah.
Oh, well, Dilf was kind of born outside of even putting it in 2 weeks. And I thought about how, like, it seemed to me that it wouldn't be hard to make this little, like, catchy little love ballad thing going on. And I just, like, didn't even know what to write. So I kind of made it around being in love with someone's dad and sent it to Sequoia. I was like, hey, you want to be with me on this? And at first, like, I didn't like how I sounded because I don't think I'm a very good singer. But sent it to him, showed it around, like, I guess us before we knew 2 weeks was a thing, but we didn't connect those two dots. And then Jackson kind of wanted to work with it, so he helped me with vocal mixing, and everyone hopped on it. He arranged it, and it works into this climax at the end where everyone's doing their own little hook, but it doesn't sound like as crowded as you would think, even though it is. But that
Yeah,
one was just
that's what I wanted to bring up. Just the structure of that one is like my proudest thing on the album. Because like when everybody's recording their shit, you just do it over any part and then send it to me, and like I'll usually put it over where they did it. But like with one like that, I just got sent. Almost every person had something on there, and I had to figure out how to like do it. And that was one where it just kind of fell into place the right way. And I think like having each person slowly come in, and then the entire time Yi is in the back doing backing vocals, and then
Yeah.
just having by the last hook, there's like 7 people. I think everybody except Kevin, I'm pretty sure, is like on it by the last hook, and it's not like crowded. I think because it's not a techno beat with a really loud 808 that's like gonna make the mix muddy, but it just worked out really well. So that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I sent in this like shitty vocal reference over the entire song, and then Jackson made me sound like a pop star somehow.
And then we have Bruno at the end being the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so, I even wanted to with his. I wanted to work him, even though he's at the very end. I wanted as many people on the last hook so you can hear like the deadbeat dad. It's like looped in the back, just so that you have that in the back, you have E in the back, and then like 5 people on the hook. So there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's done well about this album is because of how good the mix is, like that helps like add reasons for like repeat listens. Is like you can listen to it again and like hear something that you didn't hear the first time. That's not because it was like buried poorly or something. It's just because like there's so much going on, but it's all there and balanced well. Yeah, that track is just really cool because like just like the end of it is like the end section is so cool because there's just a bunch of different bars that are all happening at the same time, but it all sounds good. So something I wanted to ask about is so this album's like from listening to the bars, this album is very like homoerotic, and so like while there's always a comedic undertone, it's like expressed in different ways, such as like brooding on Lick 'Em Up, or like soulful on Dilf, or like
Sex.
So
Yeah,
or sex. Yeah, that's a great example. And like from listening to the bars, it's like at some points it's like there's sort of like an equal interest in women and men. So what I was curious about from listening to the album is like is all like the gay shit, like is it all like purely for laughs, or is it like any of it rooted in reality at all? Like are you guys like into men at all, or is it just like, oh, it's funny?
Are you asking us
I'm
if
in
we're
the
queer
man,
baiting?
bro.
Oh no, that's not what I meant. But like, I was curious about whether you like brought like your own sexuality into play and like writing these lines for these songs.
I think it's worth like mentioning how all of the sexual like nature of most songs was unintentional at first. Like we had our little beats channel where people would just be like, "Oh, I like this beat. I'll just send it on." And all the fucking beats just had to be like for some reason with sexual intent. Like Lick 'Em Up wasn't called Lick 'Em Up until Kanye East sent his verse.
Well, it was,
and
called Throbbing Cock,
Throbbing
wasn't
Cock.
it? Yeah, that's even worse.
Oh,
That goes on topic to like saying how we made each of our songs. No one had any plans. We just took like the beat name and we basically like took that and ran with it. That's how we came up with like topics for each song.
Yeah.
Dilf was Dad Fucker originally.
Yeah, it's called Dad Fucker.
I would say from me, I think that it's easier to like. I feel like I'd feel really like embarrassed and like corny if I was like talking about like, oh, I'm having sex and shit. But if I'm doing it about Bubby, right? Because that's what the sex song is.
Yeah.
It's like funny, and so I can do that. I'm more comfortable with that, you know.
Right.
So yeah, like it's not. I wouldn't say it's necessarily rooted in reality for most of the album, or
But
at
some
all.
of us. There's a few in this call. We got some imposters in here.
That's imposters.
Every song is written about puppies.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't mean to make things awkward. I was just curious about that.
Oh,
That
no.
was awesome. That was
Good.
So something else I was curious about was Game of the Year edition. I thought that was semi-interesting when I listened to that. So was that just like sort of like that was sort of somewhat of like an afterthought, or like what was the process for that? Because you already like finished the album and then did that after, right? So it's like sort of a remix, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but since the day that we put out self-titled, we have released something every single day. And so Game of the Year edition, I think, was just one of the first ideas for what we would release every day.
Right.
And
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I guess like I saw those and I was like, oh, these are kind of like shit posts, and then like I really understood how much of like a shit post they actually were when I saw the silent edition one. It's literally just nothing. There's no sound. It's just silence.
I think it was easy to just get into that because we had spent so long finishing it up, and then now that we're done, if you buy DistroKid, like you can upload as much as you want. It's a yearly subscription, so we're just like, we'll just go to town with it. There's only a couple, like I don't know if you heard 2 Weeks Anthem. That's our
That one's
GD Anthem
good.
remix. That one's like its own thing, but most of it's been just the worst. And I mean. It's not gonna be when this comes out, and I'm sure it'll already be up. The one going up tonight's called the Bubby Piss Kink edition, and that's probably the worst one yet. So.
The one we put out today was pretty good, though. It's called Spook Weeks. And so
That's
it's
my
just
favorite.
8 of us, or I think Kevin never did one, did he? So it's
I
just
guess
7
so.
of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're just making stupid noises because I was looking, like I was trying to think of shit to do, and I remembered that Trippy Red's label put out a deluxe edition of his album that was just Trippy Red making spooky sounds, and they called it Spooky Sounds Edition. So I just thought it would be funny to do that for us.
That's funny, and it makes it more defensible that you did that, considering Trippie Redd, like a mainstream major label artist, actually did that. Yeah, I listened to that, and I mean, it wasn't silent, so there's that.
Yeah,
It's very loud.
it's very loud. Yeah.
It's very loud, and there's a lot of reverb, and yeah.
Yeah, I put this distortion filter on it that did all that weird shit, and I didn't even listen to them. I just exported them, like however they would turn out.
Cool. So after I listened to this album like a few times, I concluded that like there's something here. Do you guys think that you're eventually gonna do like an actual follow up that's not just like some throwaway to just put on DistroKids just for the hell of it? Do you think that's a possibility sometime in the future?
I think so, probably.
I think that, well, firstly, like, for me, I'm trying with, like, my own stuff to have it be, it's still, like, lighthearted, but a lot more, like, defensible, I guess, or, like, the average person could enjoy it a bit more, rather than having to be in on, like, this crazy joke that we got going on.
Right.
But I've told everybody in here, like, if they ever want to, like, get into shit, I'm down to bring everybody else up, too. It's just, yeah, everybody, like, I guess I'm the only one that this is, like, their main thing right now is all the music shit, so we'll see what happens. We definitely have more 2 weeks in store. I don't know how serious it'll be. Like, I don't know if it'll be like what you're thinking of, like, all right, now this is the real one or not. But regardless, like, I'll have my shit for that. It's like, out of our camp over here, like, there is gonna be a variety of that going out.
Like, we have something planned for the future, but it's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah.
We just have so much energy working on this album, we aren't prepared to do.
No, yeah, fair
Like-
enough. I mean, yeah, I could tell from like listening to the album that like there was a lot of hard work put into it. Like you can hear it by listening to it. So yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, like, you can just like tell from like the huge difference in quality between self-titled and then like all the other shit that like it takes like some amount of time to like actually put out a solid release. So
Yeah, we have I think one of the ones going up is the demo one or whatever. Is that like
Yeah,
what it
the
is?
drafts and demos. That one's actually
There's-
cool. I like that one.
There's not that much on there, but the stuff on there is awful. It's like, we didn't finish them, you know, and so it's fun too to just look at like the earliest versions we had, like before, like I don't mean to give too much of a pat on my back, but like the mixing goes a long way. Because if you just take, like, if you took my Splash Mountain shit and didn't mix it, and I'm like yelling or whatever, it'd sound horrible. Like it would be very like corny, and it already is corny to some people, but like it'd be really bad.
no, yeah, I mean, I was impressed by like it was really loud and like you were like shouting, but like it sounded good in the mix and like it actually like sounded listenable. So like yeah, that was impressive to me.
I believe that was in the Taco Bell parking lot. I did it in my car, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's crazy like regardless of the setting like where you're actually like recording the vocals or where the source is from, like as long as your mixing knowledge is really good, then that can overcome the lacking quality of like the setting or the source of the sound. I guess just like another thing to just like add and is what I liked about like Cart Night Splash Mountain as like this like ending like climax like grand end to the album. It was that like it was like it's literally like about like murdering someone.
Yeah.
And then like the guy just like goes mad with power from like having gotten away with it. And like that as a concept is like that it can be good, it can be bad depending on like how it's executed. But like the way it was done with like the distortion and the headphones thing, maybe that was on a different track, but like like blast your headphones, then like it just got like louder until like clipped in the mix.
Yeah.
And then the usage of the sample on the song too, I like that a lot.
I love that.
I was
sample in the
just
song.
listening to the beat of it, which like the whole beat, like Bruno made the first part of it where it's a lot slower and there's the singing, and then I just took the parts of that and like chopped it in weird ways and then gradually just distorted it more and more and more. But that I was just listening to it and I don't know why in my head I was just hearing like, how do you do this? I like downloaded it, split it up, and that was a lot of fun to throw on there.
Yeah, I liked how conversational the producer tags were too. Like what was it? Bubby, give me a beat, or like Bruno did this beat, and I helped out with it too. Like I just thought that was funny.
I love that tag.
That one's great.
Good job on this album. I thought it was like really solid. I liked it a lot. I'd probably give it like, I don't know, a 7 or an 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10, yeah.
Wow.
Very much.
And whenever the next album's ready, I'm super excited to listen to it. Take all the time you need to get that done.
We'll send you an early copy.
This is a Kevin Downey exclusive.
This copy.
Yeah.
That's for Kevin Downey.
And yeah, JS Punch, I know you're doing like solo stuff, so I'm looking forward to that too. I like Noah Bronson a lot, so.
That's basically the similar thing, just with like my IRL people. You know, it's like it's the same thing. I'm just getting a bunch of friends, and I'll mix all the shit and just see where it goes.
Yeah, whenever like samples are used either like in this album with all these people you worked with or on that, I like the way that the samples are used, like the Philly D sample, like that song, that was really funny.
Philly. Yeah, I love putting him in the title too, like just featuring Philip DeFranco. It's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, great job on this album, and thank you guys for being willing to be a guest on my podcast. So thanks for coming on.
Sure. Thanks for having us. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
A great
Yeah,
opportunity.
thank you.
Yeah, and
Yeah, this was really cool. Thank you.
I'll put the link to the album in the video description so people can check it out.
Cool.
And yeah, I guess that's about it. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Check out 2 weeks on Bandcamp and Spotify and Apple Music and Deezer. Check out Spook Weeks, I guess.
I think we're on Snapchat now.
And
freezing cold.
I think that's a teaser for the next album, really.
Yeah, that's so cool.
right, Astro. Yeah, it's funny how that whole feature was just a CE reference. And yeah, thanks everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of People's Perspectives. Stay tuned for the next one. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kevindoni.
Notifications on, everyone.
Follow 2 weeks on Twitter. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. People's Perspectives is available on multiple podcast platforms.